to the next episode of Beyond the Front Porch.
Because where we live is just the beginning. And a quick happy holidays, and we're wearing red and green. Wasn't even planned.
Yeah. So Christmas is next week. We've got the new year ahead of us. And so on this episode, we wanted to talk a little bit about what we've been hearing is the next big thing in real estate, and that is people who are downsizing for various reasons, either because of change in family status, it's empty nesters. Our older community, the boomers, are moving into smaller homes or moving into communities and stuff like that, or because of divorce. So we wanted to kind of touch on the statistics and talk about how that looks different in the whole purchasing process.
Yep. And a lot of the newer buyers even now are not wanting the big, huge homes. So, the larger homes are sitting on the market longer because now that's becoming more of a special type of buyer. And I think we were reading 1,800 square feet or less is what people are kind of looking for.
Yeah.
It's lower maintenance, lower insurance costs, lower tax costs, and because overall housing costs, the cost of owning a home, are going up.
Yeah. So people are going with smaller homes because really, how much do you use your formal dining room or formal living room and stuff like that? So, going to homes that just have a dining room, a living room, kitchen, and then, usually about 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
Yep. And a small backyard. We do come across, being in the Denton area, we do come across a lot of people that want land, but also they're not looking for, that's not typical for DFW, I think. So, and right now we've got a lot of people that are aging out or that have 2-story homes that are wanting to downsize to either a patio home, which the Denton area doesn't really have much patio homes.
Yeah.
I think there's one little street. But I think that's something that we need to see more of is patio homes, because it's, you've got no backyard pretty much, and you've got, and the front yard is usually cared for by the HOA.
Yeah, there's a neighborhood that's being built right now that is off of Lake Sharon. That's here. It's kind of over by the Lake Dallas High School. And I think it's still Denton. I'm pretty sure it's still Denton. It might be Lake Dallas. But it's all those kind of patio homes and zero lot lines and stuff like that.
And they usually have the weird tandem garages.
Yeah, and they're like these long.
If you've only got
lots.
one car, yeah.
So, but people are liking that because it's not a lot of lawn maintenance. You still usually have a patio you can go out and sit on or something like that. You still have a garage. A lot of them are 2 stories, but they're also very affordable. And you do it's house on top of house, but you do have, the community and stuff like that. They usually have some, nice amenities and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and they're usually centrally located, so you can be closer to family and friends and doctors and all that kind of thing. And then we are seeing the 55 and up communities. There's more being built. I just saw that there's one out in Justin that they're building for 55 and up, which surprised me because a lot of the 55 and up are there are homes for sale that aren't really selling. It takes longer to sell because the people buying those homes aren't in a hurry to buy. So usually take a little bit longer, and the buyer pool is just smaller. But what you were hearing, that we're probably going to see an uptick in the 55 and up communities in the next year or 2.
Yeah. I mean, that's a statistic that I've been hearing throughout this year is if you want to get in on the next big kind of buy sell community, it's going to be those older people who are looking to downsize and either move into kind of a group home kind of thing or to the 55 plus or active adult communities.
So let's talk about those active adult communities.
It's kind of funny because I'm 48 and Derek is going to be 55 this year. So I'm like,
crazy.
We could move into a 55 plus community.
Yeah, and only one person needs to be 55. But a lot of them don't allow anyone under the age of 18 like no children
Yeah.
allowed at all.
Yeah.
And so like if you have grandkids that want to come stay with you for a week or two or a month or something, that's not really allowed.
Well, and a lot of the homes in a 55 plus are usually like 2-bedroom, 2-bath kind of things too.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really made for couples, you know, or single people to go and live. But they can be really nice, like really nice, and have a lot of great amenities and all that kind of stuff, things to do. That the HOA seems to be a lot more active.
Right.
And they have a lot more events and stuff like that in those communities.
Right. So one of those that that always gets a bad rap around election time is Robson Ranch.
Yeah.
So and that is kind of out there. I remember when they first built it, they were like, oh, it'll have doctor's offices and grocery store nearby and all of that. And I think 12 or 15 years later, they're finally getting a grocery store.
Yeah.
And it's HEB, of course.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. And there is a 55 plus section in Oakmont. Because the listing that I have there, I get several people that like ask, especially in open houses, like, is this part of the 55 plus? And I'm like, yeah. If you're looking for Oakmont, let me know.
Yeah. And then the prices in Oakmont are, do you know about what the prices are in the Oakmont 55 and up?
I think it's the lower end for Oakmont. So, you know, like the 300s to 400, 450 kind of deal.
And Robson Ranch is more like 5s and 6s.
Yeah.
So, and they usually have a little bit bigger yards. It's gated, so there's always somebody working the front. Whenever we go in to show a house, you know, we have to say, hey, here's my name, and we're here to show this address. And then I'm not sure if they include the front yard care or not. I believe they do, but they have a really nice clubhouse, swimming pool, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of the 55 plus communities include the front yard lawn maintenance. And a lot of them also include front and back because, you know, when you've got somebody who's older.
No fences, too.
Yeah, because they can't, you know, getting out there behind a lawnmower.
Great place for estate sales.
Yeah.
As well. So,
because there's that community too. Like, you know, the people who are already in the 55 plus communities that are now needing a little bit extra help and are moving into like, you know, it's like apartment living.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like assisted, like a full care home or whatever, but
there's no yard, very small. Like there's one of those at Razor Ranch, and all those apartments that they've just built. There's a 55 and up over there, and they've got elevators. I think it's 3 or 4 stories tall, and it's all, you know, they've got the valet trash. It's all very highly secure.
They even have garages. Like some of them have kitchen, you know, full cafeteria kind of thing. So they provide all the meals and everything.
Yeah.
And like a lot of community, you know, events and
bingo.
So I think we're going to see a lot of people moving into the 55 plus communities and a lot of people moving out into assisted living. And then, you know, there's also the unfortunate thing of people who, you know, pass and having to deal with the family that's left behind going through probate and having to sell their parents' home or whatever.
Yeah, so, which we do see a lot of that. There's also a 55 and up community up in Aubrey, up at Union Park. And that's been a challenge just because 380 is always under construction. They say it's going to be done early this next year, but we'll see. But one of the houses in there that had my exact same floor plan of a house I'm selling sold with probate. And I'm like, man, that really messes up the comps because they were needing to get rid of it too.
Yeah.
And those are more in the low 3s. They go all the way up to 700,000, but most of them are in the 300s, like under $400,000 for a 2 or 3 bedroom, 2-car garage.
Yeah, and that one's a master plan community. Yeah. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, and one thing I like about that, and also Robson Ranch has this too, is they have a bigger subdivision close by. So, you know, their kids with their grandkids can be living there, and then they move into the 55 and up. They're close enough to help out and do stuff, but they still have their own space.
Yeah. Same thing with Oakmont, where you know you've got the 55 plus kind of in the middle.
Yeah, but as we see Gen X turning 55, that's going to be what's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what kind of living situation they'll want, because we've seen what the boomer generation has wanted, which is like the 55 and up community. patio homes, etc. And we'll see what Generation X wants. So,
well, and I think Gen X is looking more towards just to help their kids out,
right.
moving in together and the multi-generational living. I think that
There's a
is
lot of
really
that.
starting to boom,
Mm-hmm.
and people are converting homes to have like a mother-in-law suite.
Yeah.
So it goes back to people, being okay with downsizing from like maybe 3,000 square feet to 1,800 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
but still having 3,000 because they're buying a house with a mother-in-law suite.
Right. Yeah.
So like the main house has the 1,800 square feet with the 3 bedrooms, 2 baths,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have like
a little 1,200.
Yeah, that is like a living room, a
Yeah.
bedroom, and a bathroom that parents can stay in.
Yeah.
To help their kids out, because like the affordability of homes has gotten
Right.
so extreme as far as like cost of living and all that kind of stuff.
And that gives them some security as well, because then they have family close by
Mm-hmm.
when they need things.
Yeah,
And
but still have their own
yeah.
space.
Yeah. So multi-generational living, I feel like a couple builders got into that and then quickly got out of it because they are harder to sell. But I think that more and more buyers do want them. It's just a limited buyer pool again.
Well, and there's some flexibility with that too,
Yeah.
because I see a lot of people that are like, oh, I can have this apartment space
Mm-hmm.
that is separate and rent that out.
Right.
And, even after, like, say you move in an aging parent and they pass away,
Yeah.
then
Or
even
the
after
kids buy a house
yeah,
on their
yeah.
own.
Well, and for that too, like I've thought about that since I have kids that are, my oldest is going to be 18
Yeah.
next month. And I'm like, if we bought a house that had a little apartment on it, like he could live there
Mm-hmm.
and have his own space
Right.
and be his own person, but still be, in kind of a safe space, help us out, help him out kind
Right.
of thing. So I think a lot of people are seeing that on the other end of things too,
Mm-hmm.
with children who are coming into this world and they can't afford to buy anything.
Yep. My brother's still living with my parents as well. So,
Yeah.
and he helps out around the house and everything, and has a place to stay. So
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I think multi-generational housing is very common in other parts of the world. It's very common to live with your family, even after you get married and have kids, to have your parents living with you until you can no longer care for them and until they're not independent anymore. And I think in America, we've always valued our independence and have to have our own space and everything. And I think we're kind of seeing that mostly for financial reasons, people are gravitating more to multi-generational living.
Yeah. I think we wouldn't be doing that if the housing market versus the cost of living and income and economy and all that kind of stuff, like if that weren't where it was, that we'd still be pretty independent. Like if my son could go out and buy a house in the next year or two or whatever, and be on his own, he probably would.
Right.
But because it's nearly impossible with today's what he can really realistically see as far as income.
There's some really great first-time homebuyer programs out there, but you have to have the income to support the house you're buying. And so the entry-level jobs just aren't really supporting the entry-level homes anymore.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, there's a gap there. So it's like you have to either continue to live with your parents or rent.
And then you're pretty much just, paying the landlord's mortgage.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are reasons to rent, but I really am pushing my children to buy and, to never rent. Because I rented for a long time when I first moved out. But
it's expensive to buy a home. But at the same time, the prices of real estate always go up. If you look at like a 10-year, unless you're ending in 2008 or something, unless you're ending in the down year. But if you look at most 10-year spreads, the housing prices go up. So it's an investment, hedge against inflation, however you want to look at it. So gives you money to upsize, to get into a bigger home. Whereas if you're renting, you're kind of stuck wherever your income is.
Well, and rents nowadays aren't really that much lower than what you would pay for a mortgage anyway. It's you need the money up front to cover closing costs at least.
Yeah.
Although first-time homebuyer programs, like you said, can be great at covering a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like you still have to have a little bit of a nest egg in order to, in this time, in this economy, you have to have a little bit of a nest egg, because there's always things
whether
that
the
come up
lender
with a
tells
house.
you to or not.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, but when you own a house, it's your responsibility to pay for repairs and upkeep and all that kind of stuff, which is why some people prefer renting, even though it's like a trade-off in the money that you're saving or not saving. But yeah, so like you have to be able to afford, like, if the air conditioner goes out, and being able to get that fixed, or
if insurance goes up.
If insurance goes up, or if there's some kind of leak, or even just your toilet gets clogged, you have to be able to go out and buy the things in order to maintain your home. So there is that.
And then there's downsizing for divorce.
Yeah, which is so much fun.
So and that can be hard, because you're used to living in 1 square footage, and then you can't afford that square footage on going from dual income to single income.
Yeah, and that's what I did. We went from over 3,000 square foot home to about 1,500. So it was just like your basic 3-bedroom, 3-bath, or 2-bath for me and the boys. And it was nice. I was able to buy like a brand new home, which for me was just peace of mind, because I didn't want to have to really worry about all the repairs and stuff. So I was like, if I can get a new home, then at least I know I've got at least a year where the builder will take care of any kind of repairs. But yeah, I mean, that whole process can be a difficult one. It's an emotional time going,
and not
through
everyone
divorce.
can buy right away. I remember when I went through my divorce, I had to rent, because we were still sorting things out, and so it just wasn't realistic to buy a home right away. But it was definitely a downsize, going from almost 4 acres down to like a 650 square foot apartment. But yeah, eventually, bought a house and everything too. And so yeah, sometimes it's a winding road with divorce.
And depending on how easy it is, like how much you're able to work with your ex, it can be either a really quick process, or it can be a really long, drawn out
and
process.
We're both experienced, not just personally but professionally, with divorces. So we've helped several people go through the sale of their home with divorces, and dealing with having to keep everyone updated but separate, or together, whatever they prefer, different closings, or together, whatever they prefer. And just having to go back and forth with pricing and all of that.
And just handling the delicate situation, because there's a lot of emotion involved. And I think it's very important to have that person, especially, the more contentious it is, having someone to kind of, I don't know, interpret, so that,
and having someone neutral. So like I helped this couple buy a home, and they were so happy and everything, but then they got a divorce, and the husband wanted to use me, but the wife did not. And because I think she felt like I had helped them before, so I knew them too much. So she wanted someone, I think she had a realtor friend, or sometimes they want someone just totally that they don't know. So if you're watching this and you want someone that's experienced that you totally don't know,
we can help you out.
We'd love to help you out, because there's a lot of moving parts that go on, but we want to make it. Our goal is always to make things as low stress as possible.
And I feel like the negotiations are a little bit different when you're dealing with a divorced couple. The way you handle closings and just the whole process is a little bit, you have to be a little bit more delicate. You have to be a little bit more.
And some people, it's just as easy, if not easier, than working with a married couple,
right?
where they talk it over and get back to you. But then other times, they do want things totally separate for a variety of reasons, and that's totally okay. That's totally fine. So
sometimes it's totally necessary.
Yes, exactly.
To be in the same room would not be fit. So just having the experience, and having been through it ourselves and everything, and just kind of knowing the emotional stress that is or can be,
especially when there are kids involved and everything too.
Yeah.
So
so yeah. What else? Have we gone over everything?
I think so.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, just comment below and we'll talk about it in another episode.
Yeah. If you have anything that you'd like us to talk about and discuss, we'd be happy to do so.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us on this episode, and we will see you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.